talking about the strange little thriller movie, Exit Zero. This one is directed and written by E.B. Hughes. And the most recognisable name here, I would say, would be Peter Green, who you've seen in a number of things, probably The Mask, that's the bad guy in that, to name but one. And this focuses on a couple as they are tired of the hustle and bustle of modern city living and decide to have a little bit of a break away in a secluded small American town. Now this particular town is home to this hotel, or kind of like a bed and breakfast type place, and the guy has some vague memories of staying there as a young child, and he's kind of going back there, and it's a very old-fashioned style kind of hotel. And whilst they are there seems to be some strange phenomena that certainly the guy seems to be witness to. Drawers seemingly opening and closing on their own, pictures falling off the walls, things like this. And in one instance he finds an old VHS tape under the bed, and when he plays it there appears to be footage of an old murder of two people. Now he doesn't quite know what to do with it, eventually going to the police, but things start to seem to get even weirder as at this point there seems to be nothing on the tape and things like this. And what will happen? You'll have to watch the movie to find out. Is there some type of supernatural presence there? Is this guy going mad, or is it something closer to home? You have to watch the movie to find out. So what did I think of Exit Zero? I have to say I was reminded very much of a kind of a David Lynch style abstract film with this one, because there's kind of a lot going on and not all of it kind of makes sense, but there are certain things here that certainly I would say are in the plus column. So number one, I'd say I actually really like some of the characters here. Now, I put a little bit of an asterisk on this one because I feel that this movie is easy to write off our main protagonist, this guy, as being an unlikable character. And he is. He's bordering on abusive with his girlfriend. But what I liked about it was he is this very flawed character. And, you know, he comes across as very unique in a way that you see in kind of films, because quite often, certainly in low-budget indie movies, you know, our characters have to be likeable for us as an audience to empathise with. And I understand that logic, but I feel if done correctly, you can have someone that is an unlikable character, but still kind of root for them. And this is the case with this one. Although he's not, you know, he never goes too far. He just seems a little bit possessive with his girlfriend, constantly kind of nagging her that she's on her phone too much. And maybe she is, you know, again, it's just a little kind of like jab at kind of modern life here. Things like that. He just seems to be a little bit grumpy, maybe a little bit mean, without kind of straying into unforgivable territory where he is legitimately kind of abusing them. So I quite like that you have this fairly sort of complex character. Now, as the movie progresses, we learn he may have some deep-seated issues that are underlying on his psyche, which may add to this kind of behaviour. I just quite like the relationship with him and his girlfriend, who just seems to kind of put up with it, but does feel like she does have genuine affection for him. But also is that you do feel like she's questioning a little bit about maybe what she's doing there. So I thought the performances here were, for those two characters, were absolutely fantastic. I also really liked the performances of a couple of other characters. There's a policeman, this detective, who on one hand is taking the kind of the claims pretty seriously, but on the other hand he's kind of like, oh god, this guy, you know, he's probably just a nutter. I liked him. I like this kind of there's a kind of a guy who is like a tour guide on this like lighthouse, and again I just thought they're all kind of really interesting characters that I feel are very well portrayed and well directed here. The mystery itself is somewhat intriguing because you really don't know what's going on. The movie presents itself like it initially may have something to do with this crashed ship, and maybe kind of supernatural spectres that are to do with that. Or maybe there's a mystery within the hotel which is a little bit more closer to home. But it's an intriguing story, and I feel it kind of peels back the layers. And it almost feels a little bit noirish, as well as being, you know, somewhat like a David Lynch style film as well. The movie, I would say, does kind of ramp up in regards to its kind of suspense, and as the film progresses, more things are revealed, and you feel the tension is increasing, which obviously is the whole aim of this kind of style of movie, and you want things to kind of escalate into a crescendo. Maybe what doesn't work. So I've mentioned some of the characters that I do like. However, I do feel there are characters here that border on a little cartoonish. The innkeeper, for one, is a little bit on the kind of the cartoony and the kind of the lampoon sort of side. I get maybe that some of these people in this kind of local town village are going to be a little bit kooky, but some of them are just bordered on a little bit kind of like just a little bit too odd. And to be thankful with that one, though, they tend to have the less screen time compared to maybe the performances that work a little bit better. Here's where I feel the main issue will be. I feel there is not a lot of payoff in this film. Those of you who are expecting a movie to have a real conclusion to it, I feel maybe disappointed with this one, because you really feel like the issues here are kind of left a lot open, to be honest with you. And then maybe, obviously, that's by design. Maybe it's left up to interpretation. But I feel ultimately, because of this, the movie becomes a little bit unsatisfying. And then there is a little bit here of treading water. You feel that you're waiting for the next kind of thing to happen. And although the tension does sort of go in the right direction, you feel that there are some things that feel a little bit superfluous. Peter Green's character, for example, although, you know, he's probably the biggest actor here. But again, I felt his scenes were maybe a little superfluous, to be honest. A few other scenes here, I felt maybe it kind of just needed maybe an extra element here or there. Overall, it's certainly an intriguing film. Certainly one for maybe kind of the more art house crowd. Although I don't think it's quite that kind of like sort of level of movie. It's not impressionist or anything like that. But it certainly is somewhat abstract, somewhat of a kind of a little bit of an oddity here. But I feel there's enough here through some of the performances to make it an intriguing film. Although I feel that the narrative as a whole, you know, doesn't quite go to everyone's satisfaction, I would say, and certainly I feel people will feel a little bit shortchanged by this one. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.